keeping them honest, not trying to take sides or pulling for Democrats or Republicans. There are other cable channels for that. Our focus tonight is just reporting, focusing on facts and trying to expose hypocrisy where we find it. Yesterday, the Senate blocked a UN treaty aimed at protecting the rights of disabled people around the world. 125 countries have ratified it. It's modeled on the American with Disabilities Act, which the U.S. passed 22 years ago. But 38 U.S. Republican senators voted against the UN treaty, leaving it 5 votes short of ratification. Not even a rare visit by the former Republican Senator Bob Dole just before the vote made a difference. He's 89 now, appeared frail in his wheelchair, and Dole, who's, as you know, is disabled from war injuries, came to the chamber to show his support for this treaty. Rick Santorum, the former senator and Republican presidential candidate, led the charge against the treaty. He and some other Republicans warned that it would jeopardize U.S. sovereignty and personal freedoms. Listen.
The problem is there's a provision in this international law, which we would be adopting if the Senate ratifies this, that puts the state in the position of determining what is in the best interest of a disabled child.
I simply cannot support a treaty that threatens the right of parents to raise their children with the constant looming threat of state interference.
The treaty could be used to interfere with the ability of parents with disabled children to decide what action is in the best interest of their children.
Well, that all sounds very alarming, but keeping them honest, it's just not true. The treaty does create a committee that can issue non-binding recommendations on how nations can do better on disability rights, but it doesn't, and I repeat, does not require any changes to existing state or federal laws. In July, former Republican Attorney General Dick Thornburgh testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee saying that the treaty's provisions, and I quote, protect U.S. sovereignty and recognize the convention as a non-discrimination instrument similar to our own American with Disabilities Act. In other words, the UN treaty can't force the U.S. to do anything, nothing at all. But that fact didn't stop Rick Santorum, whose 4-year-old daughter is disabled, from pushing his own storyline and, frankly, twisting the facts along the way. Listen.
This is a direct assault on us and our family to hand over to the state the ability to make medical determinations and see what is in the best interest of the child and not look at the wonderful gift that every child is.
After the treaty was voted down, John Kerry, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and an advocate of the treaty, said, and I quote, "This is one of the saddest days I've seen in almost 28 years in the Senate. It needs to be a wake-up call about a broken institution that's letting down the American people. We need to fix this place." Well, today he addressed Mr. Santorum's claims.
Well, I have great respect for both Rick and his wife Karen and their daughter and their family. He's a strong family man. But he either simply hasn't read the treaty or doesn't understand it, or he was just not factual in what he said, because the United Nations has absolutely zero ability to order or to tell or to even, I mean, they can suggest, but they have no legal capacity to tell the United States to do anything under this treaty. Nothing.
Well, tonight, many disability rights advocates are saying that politics trump the welfare of the disabled everywhere.